Hey y'all, you may have noticed I have given up greetings for a little while. I may come back to that, but I'm changing things up. So today I'm going to talk about the Fitbit Inspire. They have two versions. They got the regular Inspire and they have Inspire HR. HR tracks heart rate. I didn't want the heart rate, plus they charge you $20 extra for it. But I'm going to get back to that in a little bit. This came out in 2019. And it came out in March. And I bought mine, I think October. So I've had it for a while. And I want to talk about it. I'm going to talk about the cool things. And I'm going to talk about the stuff that's irksome. Gonna be fair. So anyway, the first thing about this is that it actually has a clock. I have not worn a watch since 2009. I stopped wearing a watch. I didn't care anymore. I work independent. I wasn't on any gigs, so I didn't have to have alarms set because I had a watch that actually gave me alarms. So I just stopped wearing a watch. I had a smartphone. I had everything. But I'm back to this. It has the time on it. Now, truthfully, I don't notice the time most of all that often, but here it is. It's telling you that it's 3:39. You can have it on the 24-hour thing or the 12-hour. I prefer a 24-hour because I'm a military kid. But that's the first thing. Next thing you have that it tells you is how many steps you have. And I'm not sure if you can see that, but right now I'm at 10,464 steps. I'm almost at my steps goal. And I've talked in the previous, I guess a couple of videos ahead, about walking between 5 and 10 miles a day. And just to come down here, it tells you how many miles you've walked. And right now it's telling me I've walked 4.83. You really can't see it all that clearly. It's also telling us, it says that I have been walking for 71 minutes. You know what? I have no idea how to focus this. But it says I've walked 71 minutes of activity. If you go out there and you walk around for like 2 or 3 minutes, it's not going to register. But if you walk at least 5 minutes, it will register active time. Active time is the time where you're actually burning more calories than anything else. So I can easily put in 250 steps just walking back and forth to the kitchen a few times. Because one of the goals that you have, I don't want to jump ahead. I'll get to it. But in any case, I'm easily going to hit my 6 or 7 miles today. I might even hit 8. So that's what that is. Next thing I have on here is, you can't see it. Maybe you can see the lights though. So it says here that I've hit 250 steps 7 out of 14 hours. Now I start mine, 14 hours is the longest you can have, or the most you can have. So I have mine start counting from 9 a.m. until 11 p.m. So that's 14 hours. So it's not 4 o'clock yet. So if you think about it, I've got at least 250 steps between 9 o'clock and, it's not 4 o'clock yet, so we'll say 3. So far, I've hit it every single hour, and that's kind of the goal. Some people may want to shrink it down to just, certain day period, or they'll try to get early mornings. But me, I just want to kind of stay active all the time. So that's what that does. Next thing you do, it has, you can't read it, my goodness. 2 of 4. I wonder if I put it closer, if you can actually see any of this. Let's find out. Nah, you still can't see it. So one of the things that I programmed it to do with the application is I said that I wanted it to show exercise at least 4 times a day, some kind of exercise. So what I've been doing, and I talked about this in one of the earlier videos, is more stretching. And so when I do stretching, it doesn't count as the steps, so you actually have to put that in. And I put it in on my FitnessPal, which is an app that relates well with this. And so if I go in there and I start doing my stretching, and I'm doing the leg stretches, the squats and everything, and then I do the arm stretches or any other stretches, then it goes on there. If I actually was somewhere where I was lifting weights, you do the time. How long did it take me? Not how much weight, but you just do all this other kind of stuff. You go in, you pick the type you did, and for me, it's called mild stretching because, it really is just mild stretching. If I was doing it for 30 minutes, it might not be, but I'm not going to do stretching for 30 minutes. Just ain't going to happen. Anyhow, this here says 2 for 4, so it's saying that basically, for this week so far, I've actually done 2 days of actual exercise. Actually, living in this area, it's interesting in the fact that if I go out and have to shovel snow, that actually counts as exercise. So let it snow. Let's bring it on. Next that we have is sleep. Notice you don't see anything on here because sometimes sleep shows up and sometimes it doesn't. I haven't figured out why. I went online and tried to research it, and no one seems to know why sometimes it doesn't work. And so I just don't have it. Other days I do have it. But this is going to lead us now into the things that I don't like about it. Because in general, I like the thing. What I don't like about it, one, it doesn't always show sleep. Number two, the application is wonky. I have an Android, and it took me, when I had to sync it to the app, when I bought this one, because I used to have the Fitbit Flex, when I had to sync it to the app, it found it and it looked like everything was going good. Only it was not recording any information from this thing. And so I went online and, I started following all the suggestions that they had. And one of the suggestions was, well, remove it and then put it back on. Well, I removed it, and then it took me almost an hour to get the phone, or the app, I should say, to recognize that it was there. And I had it right on top of the phone, and it just wouldn't find it. Eventually it did, it gives you the code and whatever. And a couple of times it got to the point where it gave me the code. I put the code in and it would do its little gesticulations and say, nah, we ain't buying it. That is irksome because it's one of the recommendations that they give you. And there's nothing you can do about it except keep trying. Now, when you have it on there, like I said, there are times that it just doesn't record. I went in and I set the thing for all day. Sometimes it just doesn't work. Most of the time it doesn't work. It's actually a little better now, but I'm going to tell you what they told me in a couple of minutes. So one of the other things they say to do is, well, take it off and sync it, reset it using the thing that you use to charge it. Because the reason I went to this one is because my Fitbit was getting old and I was having to take it off every day and sometimes charge it like a couple of times a day because the battery just wasn't holding. So I bought this because it says it has 5 days before you have to charge it again. They recommend you charge it before then, but it should last 5 days, which, okay, that's great. That's exactly what I want. I want to have to take it off every single day. I now have to take it off multiple times a day. Why? Because when it doesn't sync, what you have to do is you have to go to the little dingy thing, and let's see here. What's it look like? Looks like this. As you can see, it's got the thing there where you charge it. You hook it into it. So you have to do that, and you have to make sure that it looks like it's charging. And then you have to hold down the button, the same button that I pushed to do everything else, and you have to hold it until you see the smiley face. Truth of the matter is, a lot of times, if you're only doing it the one time till you see the smiley face the first time, it ain't going to do a thing. Every once in a while, I have to hold down the smiley thing up to 7 times to see it before something finally happens. And what happens is that every time you push it, the time kind of goes off. And that's a little scary. However, once it resets and it finally finds all the information, it brings the time back. Whereas, if you take it off and you go to the app and you remove it and then you put it back on, you lose any information that it has accumulated for that day. So I've had a couple of days since I've had this where it didn't show any information for a certain period of time because it totally wiped it out. If I had been able to sync it, it wouldn't have wiped it out. But then if I'd been able to sync it, I wouldn't have had a need to take it off. So anyway, I'm still taking this bad boy off every single day. Now what happened is, like I said, I did all the research and then I contacted someone on Twitter because they have a Facebook page, a Twitter handle. So they wrote me. And I said, I'm having trouble with this. I've had this for a while now because I waited like 3 or 4 weeks before I said anything. And they asked me what kind of phone I had. I said, well, I got an Android, and this is the system that it's running. And say, oh, we know that we have a problem with that, and we're working on it. Turns out that they'd been working on it for 6 or 7 months. And I just thinking, well, must be a new thing. But only in the last couple of weeks does it sometimes work without me actually having to take it off. I have no idea why it's doing it. I wondered if it has something to do with my tablet because even though they told me the thing about the Android and the phone, it turned out that it wasn't working with my tablet either, even though they didn't mention the operating system the tablet was using, which for me is also an Android. They didn't mention that, oh, it ain't working with that one either. And I'm sorry, I gave it a 1-star review because I was irked, and I'm still irked right now. If it gets to that point where it's always generating, then I will bump it up. Because my problem isn't with this. The problem is in syncing it. If I can't sync the information so that I can track it, then what's the point in having it? I could get a pedometer just to track steps every single day, and I can push the button and reset it. Still, overall, this is kind of cool. Except one more thing. Remember how I showed you the sleep and it just gave me the half moon and it didn't record any of that stuff? One of the other things that happens is that you can only record sleep during a certain period of time, and you have to tell it what that period of time is, and then it doesn't record anything else. There's no button that you have to push. So on the Flex, what you did is that I think you tapped it somehow or whatever, and it knew, okay, you're going to take a nap. Good, we will record your sleep during that nap, and it recorded it. You can't do that with this. You actually have to have a certain setting. So I've set mine for midnight to 9. Now, if I go to bed before midnight and I fall asleep, then it will catch it before then. If I decide to take a nap at 8:30 in the morning, which happens sometimes because sleep issues and mom, but if I take a nap at 8:30 or 8:45 and I sleep at least an hour, it will record it. If you sleep less than an hour, it doesn't record it. Now, supposedly, the Inspire HR does allow you to do that. And had I known that up front, I might have gone ahead and bought the HR. Even if it was $20 more, don't care about the heart rate, but it would be nice to capture all the sleep that I get during the day. And I don't think you have to wait for that hour. So I think if you took a 30-minute nap with the HR, it will record it. This here, it doesn't matter. If I go to bed at 1 a.m. and I wake up at 1:45, it's like, who are you? I don't know who you are. Still, if they get that thing fixed, this is okay. But you need to know the thing about if you've got it hooked up with your app on the phone and it's not looking at it, it can't find it, because you get that thing that says no devices found, don't take it back off. Because if you had any information on it, it's just going to erase it for that day. So let me know. Do you have an Inspire HR? Do you have a Fitbit? Do you use something else? Are you even walking and tracking it? I'd like to know. My name is Mitch Mitchell. Like I said before, I don't say it enough. If you like this kind of thing, like it. If you don't, dislike it. If you like it, subscribe. Hit that little bell. In January, I'm doing a video every single day, just to kind of prove that I can do it. I've done it before. I'm doing it again. And I'm trying to increase subscribers. I have a goal for the year. Y'all can help. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day. Y'all take care.